to Planting Joy Garden. I am out early this morning to kind of check on my herbs. My garden is not beautiful at this time, but I thought I would just share why it's so important to grow your own herbs. So here's a look at my overwintered herbs. I have some lemon thyme and some traditional garden thyme. And as you can see from the red leaves, that my garden thyme is a little stressed. I do believe that I may have overwatered. And here is my rosemary doing just fine. But as you can see, although I am using dry products, I harvested during uh, early winter, dried some, put it in the kitchen for use. Um, but I still have the plant here. And at the current prices, my goal is just to encourage everyone, if you've never gardened before, or if you're only doing ornamental gardening, to consider growing your own herbs. Here you see I have yarrow. It is often used medicinally. So whether it's medicinal herbs or culinary herbs, herbs are the best value in your garden. Here I have some oregano. It's not dead, it's just dormant. I have some bunching onions here that I will cover up. They are perennial and they drop seeds, so they'll be just fine. And here I have some overwintered sage. It's not dead, it's just dormant. I have garlic planted in these beds here and some rescue garlic in my tub. So it doesn't matter if you're doing your perennial herbs or annual herbs. Having herbs in your garden or just starting a garden for herbs is very cost effective, budget friendly. Herbs can be grown in ground, it can be grown in containers, it can be grown in very small places. And your annual herbs can be grown indoors during the off season and outdoors during the warm season. Your perennial herbs will come back year after year. You plant it once and you'll have it year after year. One thing to keep in mind about herbs is they can reproduce in two ways. One is through propagation, where you cut it, take a stem, put it in the ground, it produces roots, or the plant may drop seeds during the growing season. So there's two ways to ensure that you have herbs, and it truly is a plant once and have it year after year. So if you're considering starting a garden, I would highly recommend that you begin with a herb garden. And if you're not already planting herbs in your garden, to make sure you add them in. It'll be the best value for your family. We'll take a look at what's growing inside. So now we're back inside, and I just wanted to share my windowsill garden. And as you can see, my celery is growing really well. Also, my cilantro um, is growing up. It has true leaves. The basil's kind of slow, but you know, basil is a warm season crop, and they are depending on light from the window. I also started another tray of microgreens. But the important thing here to remember is that it's so important, if you've never started a garden or you grow only ornamentals, it is really worth your time to grow your own herbs. So these are just a few of what things that are growing inside. We'll go back outside and take a look at some of my perennial herbs, the herbs that I can count on every single year. These, of course, are annual. The true thing to keep in mind is like a pack of thyme. This is a small clamshell. It's about the size that can hold a deck of cards. And this cost almost $7. And you see the net weight? 0.75 ounces. So you're paying like $7 an ounce for fresh thyme. But I grow that outside. I have thyme that's dried. I have thyme that is fresh that I collect during the warm months. The same thing with rosemary. You see the weight here on this rosemary? Also 0.75 ounces. And about the size of a deck of cards. And you pay, $6 to $7 for fresh rosemary. So it's really worth your time and effort to grow your own herbs. Even if you grow nothing else, even if you think gardening is too much work, it's not cost effective, simply growing herbs is truly cost effective. And here's a better picture of what I'm talking about. So these are my countertop containers. These are the containers I use every day. And you see how much time I have left. So this was full at the end of the growing season. I just made sure I dried enough to get me through the winter until my plants start to grow again. My thyme, perennial, plant it once, have it forever. Rosemary, also a perennial, plant it once. Oregano, plant it once, grows every year, perennial. Sage, plant it once, grows continuously. Chives, same thing, plant it once. And this is a mixture of thyme, which is perennial, and my parsley, which is a biennial. So parsley can be grown every 2 years. And if it drops seeds, then you have nothing to worry about. Now, the basil, of course, this is an annual and has to be planted every year. This is what's growing on my windowsill until it's warm enough to have basil in my garden. And here's my chives. As you can see, it drops seeds and it is already growing new chives. So, the lesson here is grow your own herbs. Thank you for joining me in the garden. Plant some herbs. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding.